Hey everybody, it's Jason Creel and this is the Lawn Care Life. Today I'm going to show you some weeds and I'm going to talk to you about some specific things, products you can use to control these weeds in your lawn. We're going to talk about crabgrass, Dallisgrass, Bahiagrass, and Carpetgrass. And then I'll show you the products that you can use to help control these weeds. Let's get started. All right, let's start with crabgrass, and we've talked about this before in more depth on other videos, but I want to show you an individual plant and a bare spot in the lawn, because sometimes when it gets blended in with the grass, it may be harder to see what the plant looks like as a whole. But this is crabgrass, okay? And what it more likely looks like is this, where it's just the entire lawn, all of that's crabgrass, and it just, you see how it just takes over and fills in where it's hard to get any turf grass to grow because it's just solid crabgrass. So, but again, here's what the individual plant looks like when it puts out a seed head. A very thin stalk, and the seed heads are really thin as well, compared to like Dallisgrass, which is a much thicker stalk and has big black seeds off of the coming horizontally off of the stalk. So anyway, there's crabgrass. To go over quickly how to control it in your lawn, and again, there's other videos that I've done that have more detail on this, but by far the best way is being that crabgrass is an annual, meaning it's going to die off every winter and it's going to come back in the spring, at least in our area. Maybe if you live in where it stays warm all the time, maybe it never dies, I'm not sure. But you know, you want to use a pre-emergent to prevent it. By far the cheapest and best way. So this is Resolute. It contains the active ingredient prodiamine. It also goes by the name Barricade. Resolute is generic Barricade, and it comes in different form, granular, and this form has to be mixed in water, and I spray it out of a spray tank. But if you get that down before the crabgrass germinates, which in my area is usually sometime in March, then it prevents almost all crabgrass and a lot of other weeds as well. Now, as a post-emergent, let's say you have existing crabgrass like this, then if the crabgrass is really young, you could use Dimension, which has some pre and post-emergent activity, or it's just a post-emergent. Like if I was to spray this, then you're going to use something that has quinclorac in it, like Solitaire or Drive Accelerate. They both have the active ingredient quinclorac. Maybe you can see it there under the active ingredients, and that's what you're going to use to spray on this to get rid of existing crabgrass. Now, when it gets later in the summer, I just tell people just let it die and then prevent it next year with your pre-emergent. Actually, I found a seed head on the crabgrass, so this is helpful. So you see that very thin stalk, and you see what the seed head looks like. More examples of the seed head of this type of crabgrass. Now next we're going to talk about Dallisgrass. You can see this is Dallisgrass here. It has a dull finish to the leaf. It has a wide blade. Dallisgrass is a perennial, meaning that your pre-emergent is not going to prevent it. Yeah, look at the difference in the seed head on Dallisgrass. You see how it's a much thicker stalk, and we'll compare these seed heads side by side here in a minute. And then you have the actual seeds coming off horizontally from the stalk. Now, Dallisgrass is a very difficult weed to control in the lawn. To be honest with you, when I get a call and I go look at a lawn for my business and it's full of Dallisgrass, oftentimes I don't even take the lawn on. It's not worth it from a business standpoint to have to deal with that. In situations where you have Dallisgrass in like a centipede lawn or something like that, there's really not much you can do. Just about anything you're going to spray. There may be one exception now I think about it, but most of the stuff that's going to kill the Dallisgrass would also hurt the centipede lawn or St. Augustine or something like that. Now, as far as control options for Dallisgrass, like I said, it's a very difficult weed to control. The best product out there that I'm aware of, if you have a Bermuda grass lawn, is MSMA. Now, MSMA is not legal on residential lawns anymore, but it works fantastic, and you can use it in the middle of the summer to control Dallisgrass without hurting Bermuda grass. Now, you can't use it on centipede, St. Augustine. It's labeled for zoysia, but it will cause some damage to the zoysia. But let me show you some other options for Dallisgrass control as well. Now, one option, again, on this mostly for Bermuda grass lawns, and if you're not comfortable doing this, then that's fine, but what I do sometimes is in the middle of the the winter, after the Bermuda grass has gone dormant, there's usually a period of time. It may be late fall or in the winter, but you know, sometime between November and February, and it needs to be, you kind of need to catch the right day when it's warmer. But after the Bermuda is dormant and the Dallisgrass still has some green left in it, you can spray it with glyphosate. I understand, I hear the news, I understand, you know, what is going on with glyphosate. So if you're not comfortable, don't use it. And of course, with any product, you want to read and follow the label. But that's one way to control Dallisgrass, is to spray your lawn with glyphosate. If you have dormant Bermuda, I usually use it at around 32 ounces per acre. Other options that also can work with Dallisgrass. Again, these are all going to have limited results. Even the glyphosate, it works. It's hard to control it. The product does not get taken in as much because it's cold out, and that's when you want to pick kind of a warmer day when the Dallisgrass has some life to it, but while the Bermuda is still dormant. Two other options, you can use something like Tribute Total. You can see here, they recommend using it twice in the fall and again in the spring. So something like maybe spray it in October, come back again in November, and then again the following March or April when it starts to show life again. So it may vary a little bit depending on what the weather's like in your area. But Tribute Total you can use on Bermuda and zoysia lawns, and that's one strategy. And again, it does work, takes 3 applications. It's an expensive product, but that can have some success. Another combination that I like to use, that a friend of mine told me about, was this. Use Celsius and Certainty. Both have Dallisgrass on the label, and that doesn't mean if you just spray Dallisgrass one time it disappears. But if you combine both of these at the high rate, it does have some effect on Dallisgrass. And Dallisgrass is going to be most susceptible with these strategies in the fall. Now, like I said, the MSMA is for the summer. Glyphosate is on dormant Bermuda in the winter. But if you're doing this strategy, you want to go again in the fall, is going to be your best chance. And then hopefully finish it off in the spring if it's still alive. So maybe 2 applications with the Celsius Certainty combination in October, you know, another one in November, and then come back March or April with a 3rd application, and hopefully that will finish it off and get you some results. Again, it's not perfect, very tough control weed. And that's why I say if you're in the business and your yard has Dallisgrass all in it, just run away and never look back. It's a terrible weed and it's not worth dealing with. Now, what about this one here? You look at this stalk. You may, if you cut grass for a living, you may hate this because it can be a tough one to mow. And I know some people in Florida have their lawns out of this type of grass. This is Bahiagrass. You'll see it. This is all Bahia right here, or mostly. And I like to pull up a stalk and kind of see it. It's got that pinkish purple color right there at the base of the plant, but when it puts up this Y-shaped seed head, it becomes pretty obvious. See some pretty good examples of the seed head here. One more bonus grassy weed here. This is foxtail. Again, I would go with a product that has quinclorac in it, like Drive or Solitaire, to control that. Hopefully your pre-emergent will prevent it, but that's foxtail, and it puts up a seed head that looks like a foxtail, hence the name. Now for Bahiagrass, you're going to use a product like this. This MSM Turf is a very inexpensive product. But now let me caution you on this. The active ingredient's methylfuron, and you're going to just apply this at a low rate of 1/4 of an ounce per acre. Now make sure it's labeled for your grass type, but you can use this on the southern grass types we have. We have Bermuda zoysia, St. Augustine, and centipede. You can use it on all of these. Centipede doesn't like it particularly well, but it will tolerate it. But at 1/4 of an ounce per acre, okay, you understand that? 1/4 of an ounce is a small amount per acre. So it's very difficult to put this in like a 1 or 2 gallon sprayer or a 4 gallon backpack sprayer. It's hard to mix it at that small of a rate because of what a tiny fraction you would need. So it comes with a little measuring cone, and you figure out, you know, how many acres am I spraying out of my tank. So for instance, for me, this is something that we're usually going to mix up. Let's say put 20 gallons in a spray tank, and I can mix up that much of a batch, and then I can spray it into a smaller container like a backpack or a handheld sprayer, because it's such a small amount. And literally, if you're just trying to mix up a gallon, you're just gonna have such a tiny amount. So be careful. Like I said, a little bit goes a long way on this. You don't want to cause damage to the lawn. This actually controls a lot of weeds, very expensive. There is some concern about spraying it around oak trees, and there's temperature concerns, so make sure you read the label, and I would encourage you not to spray it around oak trees. But this is a super cheap way to control the Bahiagrass, even at that low rate, 1/4 ounce per acre. It will, if it doesn't kill it, which it may not, but it will at least stunt the growth of it to where it'll stop putting up those stalks, which, if you know, when you mow the grass 2 or 3 days later, those stalks are already shot back up and it looks terrible in your lawn. So this is an easy answer for that. If, again, you got to be careful on how you mix it. I also use Blindside, lots of another product. It also has metsulfuron in it. Now, it's more expensive. I use it on things like Virginia buttonweed and Kalinga and things like that, but I would imagine it too would have some results, because of having metsulfuron in it. Would probably work on Bahiagrass as well, though much more expensive than the MSM Turf that I just showed you. Let me take a minute to encourage you to subscribe to the channel. If you hadn't done so, click the bell beside the subscribe button, and YouTube will notify you when I create new content. I got a lot of videos out there on weed control and identification stuff. All right, we're at carpetgrass. I was concerned if I'd be able to find any, but this is carpetgrass. This is carpetgrass. It can kind of look like centipede grass, and sometimes I find it in the area with centipede. Now this, I can show you centipede next to carpetgrass here. This is centipede. It's got a thinner leaf blade. Honestly, just looks better than carpetgrass. I don't like the way carpetgrass looks. It does kind of stay low. It'll grow in shady areas, or, you know, with limited sunlight. But I would not want this as a turf grass. Now, for controlling carpetgrass, Celsius works great. Use it at a medium or high rate, and you should get a pretty easy control of carpetgrass. A lot of these products, if you're not familiar with how it works, you know, they come with some sort of measuring cap, and they'll have some lines on there. It's hard to see on the video, but this has lines for the low, medium, and high rate. I don't prefer these cups. I like the cones a little better, but you know, you get what it comes with. Now, carpetgrass, is very easy to identify when it puts out a seed head, because this is what it looks like. It has the Y with one more kicker. Okay, not 2 more kickers. It has, you see it? The Y with 1 more kicker. We're gonna put these seed heads side by side so you can compare them all together. All right, quiz time. Let's see how many of these seed heads you can recognize. We'll start on this side. What's this one? We've talked about all these in the video, so if you don't know the answer, you're not paying attention. Actually, there's one we hadn't talked about. That's Bahiagrass. Easy. It's got the big Y. I mean, it doesn't always look exactly like that, but that's a very common look to it, with a Y shape. Bahiagrass. Control it with MSM Turf, 1/4 ounce per acre. What about this? This was crabgrass. Prevent it with your pre-emergent. If it's late in the year, just let it die in the winter. Prevent it next year. If you want to try to get rid of it with a post-emergent, something with quinclorac, you can use Q4 is another product I didn't mention. Solitaire, Drive, Accelerate. That's Dallisgrass. Its seed head is nasty. The whole plant's nasty. Arch enemy of lawn care, at least in our area. And I gave you some strategies to use for it. You can use glyphosate in the winter. You can use on Bermuda grass only. You can use 3 applications of the products that I mentioned, Certainty and Celsius mixed together, or Tribute Total. That's carpetgrass. You can see how it has the Y with the 1 extra kicker on it. Celsius works great on it. And then this one, that's actually a seed head from Bermuda grass in the yard. I had a customer call me the other day, and their grass had not been cut in a while, and they had already went to seed like this, and they called me and they want to know what was going on with their lawn. And I was like, well, that's actually normal. You just need to mow the grass. You know, that's not a weed. That's your grass putting out a seed head. We can't cover everything in every video, but hopefully it's been helpful for you identifying some of these grassy weeds, giving you some control options. Again, make sure you use your protective equipment, read the label, follow the instructions, and let's see if you can get some results on the weeds that you're dealing with. You can feel free to engage me in the comments. Also, if you're going to the GIE Expo this year, at the time of this video is 2019, there is a link in the description. It's an affiliate link. You get a half-price ticket. So early bird registration is 15 bucks. Use my link. It's $7.50. That's pretty cheap. And they give me a commission if you sign up through my link, so it'd be a way to support the channel. I appreciate you watching. We'll talk to you later. Bye.